Hello everyone and welcome back to Period 6 Designs. So I'm doing a highly requested video today. You guys have asked me a lot actually about using UV resin. So I picked up this clear UV resin from the company Resin. They're very big on Amazon right now, a lot of different molds and resin type products. So I picked up some of their UV resin. This is how it looks in the packaging. It comes with like a little screw-on nozzle that you can use, which actually came in very handy. So just when you take the lid off, it has just like this little protective cap on it. Honestly, I had a terrible time trying to get that thing off. I don't know why I was struggling. And I do my own nails, so I actually have a 48-watt Melody Susie UV LED lamp. And I picked this up on Amazon, like I said, a long time ago because I do my own nails. So that's why I already have a UV lamp ready. So I'm going to start off using the Rainbow Trout glitter. And this is one of the color changing glitters from my line Period 6 Glitter. And you can pick it up at period6glitter.com. I will leave a link below. But yeah, just to give you guys some background, a lot of you guys have been asking me about using UV resin, and honestly I couldn't give an answer because it wasn't something that I had ever used. And I was getting so many questions based off my last video where I just did regular, casting resin. And so I decided to pick this up and just give it a try so I could give you guys some real and actual answers about using the UV resin. And so I'm going to do it I'm going to treat it like I would just treat regular mixed epoxy. The only thing, I don't want to say I didn't read the directions, but I did read the directions. And it has so it says somewhere between 2 and 4 minute cure time. The interesting thing, it said that you can actually cure this in the sun. I guess because UV rays, that makes perfect sense. And I live somewhere, Colorado, where it's sunny here a lot. So if you live in Colorado, you very well may be able to use this out in the sun on one of those many, many sunny days they claim we have. But yeah, I'm just going to mix, however much glitter I think I want, and just enough UV resin to go into the mold. And again, doing this just like I would with regular casting epoxy. Sorry, my husband called me. I had to take a break really quick. Okay, back. And so just gonna finish pouring this in here. And the consistency is like normal epoxy. I'm not noticing any type of differences as far as like consistency or anything. I will say that the odor is a little bit less. I know you guys always are commenting, concerned about my safety. I am wearing gloves. I am in a ventilated area. Sometimes I wear a mask, sometimes I don't. Don't jump down my throat in the comments because I don't have on a mask, y'all. I wear a mask because of COVID though, and that's all that matters. So yeah, so just make sure you're always, following the safety instructions on the box. So I'm probably gonna have to start putting this in every video, so the safety warriors are not in the comments concerned. So yes, read the comments, do what it says on the box for whatever product you were using. And so once I'm satisfied with how that looks in the mold, I am just going to grab my UV lamp. And I'm going to start it off doing 90. And because it says it takes 2 to 4 minutes and 90 is only a minute and a half, I'm going to do 2 cycles of the 90 and then I'm going to pull it out the mold. So as you can see, it's rock hard. I was honestly shocked and surprised. I didn't think it was going to be like that hard. So that was the first cycle, but just for GP, I'm going to do it one more time on the 90 seconds like I said. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this bad boy out the mold. I will say this stuff gets very hot. If you've ever had like a gel manicure and you stick your hand in the lamp and like how it's heat spikes, it's like a continuous heat spike on these letters. These letters are very hot. So again, safety warriors, don't beat me up. I did pull my glove off because I couldn't tell if the letter was cured or not. And you see me drop it because the heat kind of caught me off guard. And so there is still like a tacky surface on the surface of the letter. And so I'm gonna put the put the UV LED lamp over once again to just finish curing it from the other side. And so again, didn't know what I was doing. I've since learned how to correct this. Went ahead and took some alcohol to the letter. So that's just me sometimes you just have to touch things in order to know what is going on with it. And I'm one of those people, I'm very responsive to how things feel. And so it still felt a little sticky. So I'm like, maybe if I just go in, I'm thinking like polygel nails in my mind. If I go in with a little bit of alcohol, that'll clear that out. What I've since learned after getting through all the letters that you see on here, if it's still sticky or still tacky, just keep curing it. You don't need to wipe it with alcohol or anything because that's going to make it cloudy. So if you take your letter out and it's still sticky and it's still tacky, keep curing it. As I went on and I kept doing more letters, I found that if there's still like a tacky layer or anything, just keep curing it. And that's what you see me doing. And I finally figured out the secret. Just cure it again. And eventually it all will harden up. So let's just move on to another letter. So I have these cute little purple hollow snowflakes that I picked up on Amazon a long time ago. These are actually filed under the like nail category. Again, I have a lot of supplies because I do my own nails. And then I'm going to use this with the Clueless glitter. That's from my line Period 6 glitter. I'll leave a link to this one. So first I'm just going to start by, again, pouring some more in these little cups. And these cups are from the Dollar Tree if I hadn't mentioned that already. And just taking a few of those glitters. And so my thought was to do like an ombre. So with the snowflakes kind of falling down into the Clueless glitter. And so I'm not going to do like a bunch. I don't want it very densely packed. I want you to be able to clearly see that it's a snowflake and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to mix them in the resin just a little bit, not too much, because another thing I also learned, throwing in these tips for y'all, don't mix the UV resin too much because you'll end up with a lot of bubbles on the backside. So you can either wait for those bubbles to eventually pop. Don't know if they will, but I found that the less you mix them, the less bubbles you'll have on the backside of your letter. So just a little tip that I've learned after going through this exercise. So I'm just going to place those in there, mostly just using my popsicle stick to get them where I want them. So using that same cup, I'm just going to come back in. Oh, wait, changed my mind. Because I'm doing the ombre, I went ahead and added some more to that side of the letter to kind of build it up. That way when I pour the next color in, because it's an ombre, it won't end up on the back side of that. I'll keep it clear on the back side. So that's what I just did, in case anyone was wondering. So now I'm going to mix up the Clueless glitter with some more of that UV resin. And then pour that in the mold. And the one thing I really do love about making these letters, they can be whatever you want them to be. So yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. You can get as creative or as plain Jane as you want it to be. If you want to do just a clear letter, you can. Speaking of clear letters, the one thing I did, the yellowing wasn't like super intense. To me, it did slightly yellow just a little bit, but it's not to the point where you would be like, oh, this is yellow. So just something to notice, and you'll probably see it when I show you guys how it looks when it gets done curing. So in my opinion, it came out a little yellower than when I put it in. So yeah, that's just something to note about this resin. But other than that, it's still fairly crystal clear. Very minimal bubbles, as long as you don't like whip it when it's in the cup. Alright, so I'm just going to go back in. This is why I say that nozzle came in really handy. That nozzle fits perfectly inside the letters on this mold, so you can really just kind of get in there and fill in where you want it to. And so I'm gonna zap it again. So pulling this out the mold, again, I know I learned from the letter I just did that if it's still kind of sticky on the surface, which this one is to go ahead and put it back under the lamp and let that cure. And you can see there was some texture on the surface. I'll address that in a couple of minutes. And so that's how it looks when you take it from under the lamp. I think this one looks so pretty. This one was by far my favorite, I think. Honestly, I really like them all, but I really like that one. So I'm just going to speed through and show you guys a couple of more that I did using some more glitters. So I'll list all the glitters that I used below. So yeah, just sit back and enjoy, and I'll come back and show you guys just a couple of other things I want to touch on when you're using this UV resin. Alright you guys, so I have made and cured all 4 of the letters, and as you can see, like on the surface of like the H and the W, they don't look the smoothest or anything. That could have been 2 things. It could have been my surface, because I keep it like a plastic bag on my surface just so I don't damage my desk surface too much. But yeah, and so in order to fix that, anytime like you pull it out of the mold, or if it's like not all cured all the way through or anything like that, all you have to do is what you see me doing right now, and just take some more of that UV resin and just, like, I call it doming the letter. I don't know if that's the correct terminology or not, but essentially you're using the UV resin to like polish it up and create like a domed effect on the letter, which still looks really good, and it helps kind of with those sharp edges too. And so since the last time you saw my last video, I have actually discovered that this thing is called a precision drill, and I have bought one. Me and my husband were in Home Depot before I made my last video, and I was desperately trying to find what this thing was called, and I just couldn't figure it out. And so after coming home and doing some research after my last video, I now know that that is called a precision drill, and I have since purchased one. You can get the automatic drill, but these precision drills are like $5 on Amazon. And so if you're just starting out, or you just want to do this for fun and you don't want to spend too much money, just buy you a hand one. Just make sure the drill bits in there good. Last time I didn't have my drill bit in there good, and I ended up stabbing myself in the thumb. So just a word of caution when you're using it, but when you have it placed correctly in the vice grip like that's inside of it, you'll be fine. Not to scare anyone, but just telling you guys my horror stories. And so I have the keychains and the hooks and everything picked up from Amazon. You can buy them in bulk, like how you have me see, like how you see that I have them. And like, again, you can get like that whole kit for like $10 for like a bunch. I don't even know how many that is, but I think it's at least 100, but it's a crap ton. I still use my needle nose pliers in order to get my eye hook in, because my nails, you can see I can't do it with my nails. I thought I would maybe try, because my nails are a little shorter this time around. But yeah, if you have nails like me, or you're just not comfortable trying to get it in there, don't be afraid to just grab some needle nose pliers and help you. So you can see I got the eye hook in there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and attach to the rest of my hardware. And honestly, the needle nose pliers are pretty good for this too, because you can just use them to attach everything. And just make sure you clamp down nice and tight. Alright, the last main thing that I want to touch on, you guys, is that I get a lot of questions also asking about what to do if you have to sand them. And honestly, usually when I cast, I don't really have to sand. I'm not saying like I'm perfect or anything close to it, but I'm usually pretty good, and that's just because I've worked with epoxy for years at this point. So I'm pretty good at knowing just how much sheet to put on it so I don't damage the mold and that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not really in too much of a position to have to sand my letters, but if you do, I went ahead and picked that same P that I already kind of messed up. And so just go ahead and sand it. Then you're going to take take some alcohol and just wipe it down to get all that dust away. And then just go ahead and grab your UV resin again, because usually my response is just to recoat it, and it's the same thing in this instance. If you need to sand it, just recoat it. And the good thing with the UV resin that I'm almost grown to love it, and when it comes to things like if you have like a keychain business, that you can do this so quickly. Like you don't have to mix any epoxy or wait till the next day or anything. You can literally you can make a keychain in 5 minutes flat. And I love that about this. And so yeah, just go ahead and dome it, and you see it comes right back to life. You can do the whole letter if you need to, but since I had only sanded this one surface, I'm only gonna go ahead and address this surface. So just make sure you got every crook and corner. When you're working in natural daylight, it's a lot easier to see where you need to coat it at. If it starts to get a little dark in your room, you might want to just hit it with a little bit of light so you can see where you need to put it at. But you can see that thing came out beautifully. And so just showing you on the back how much I overmixed it, and you get those little bubbles. So just be aware of that. Don't mix it too much, because you really don't have to. It's already mixed. And you can see it came out perfect once I redomed it. And these are all the letters, you guys. I think they look so good. So if you have any more comments or questions outside of anything that I touched on, please leave a comment below and I will get back to you. Please don't forget to like this video, give it a good thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you are interested. I would love for you to join the Period 6 Designs family. I will leave links below to where you can pick up this glitter at on period6glitter.com. Also leave a link to my Facebook page. I'm not really that good with Facebook, you guys. I'm trying. Some of you guys send me messages and I don't have a clue how to get to them. So please just bear with me. Sometimes the best way is just to comment under the video. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Enjoy.